Hi, I'm Kate Gwinnett, the author of the Cardiff Bay property blog and Sales and Lettings Director at Northwood Cardiff. I was having an interesting chat with a mature couple last week who were viewing one of our rental properties with me. The property wasn't for them, it was actually for their son who's in his early 20s. And we got chatting about how they bought their first property when they were in their mid-20s and how they felt the property market had changed since then, and how they felt that young people are tending to rent more rather than buy their own property. And I just thought that the topics that we covered might be of interest to some of you Cardiff Bay landlords and prospective landlords. So looking at the affordability issue, there are 95% mortgages now available for first-time buyers via the Help to Buy scheme. So it does make it affordable, and there are some decent two-bed properties in the older Cardiff Bay developments that are on the market for around the £130,000 mark. But as I was saying to the couple, I think the cultural attitude towards housing in Britain has changed. I think in the 60s, 70s and 80s, saving for a deposit and buying a house was everything. Whereas nowadays, people do tend to have a higher level of disposable income, but are perhaps choosing to spend that money on the latest mobile phone, a new tablet, or perhaps a couple of holidays in the sun every year, rather than saving towards that deposit. And I think maybe that the stigma towards renting has changed as well, whereas if you hadn't bought a property by your 20s and 30s, you hadn't seen to have done so well, whereas now, if you're renting in your 20s and 30s, it's seen as the norm. And yes, there are some horror stories with renting where tenants are living in rundown properties and landlords are charging excessive rents and not maintaining the property, but that generally does tend to be the exception. And actually, tenants are living in properties that are better quality or even a better size than they could afford if they were buying the property themselves. So I think, like I said, the affordability issue may not be such a big issue with the 95% mortgage available. And with the example of the £130,000 flat, you'd only need a deposit of around about £6,500. But until that issue starts to change, I think the housing market in the UK is starting to move towards a European model where people are renting for longer periods of their life. Whether that's to have the flexibility or perhaps the affordability is still an issue. But I think, taking all that into consideration, I think for you Cardiff Bay landlords and prospective landlords, it's a good thing. I think the rental market in Cardiff Bay is going to continue to grow over the next 10 to 20 years, especially as the population soars. So I think there's still going to be a demand for high quality, decent properties in the Cardiff Bay area. But as always, it is important that you buy the right property at the right price and in the right location. If you want me to have a look at any properties that you're interested in, feel free to email me the Rightmove and Zoopla link and I'll happily give you my opinion. You can email me at kategwinnett@northwooduk.com, or if you want to chat, just pick up the phone on 02920 301 141. Thanks.